Ed Gonzalez, Harris County Sheriff. This afternoon, the body of a deceased person was found here in a ditch, partially submerged. At this point, the identity is unknown. We'll be working with the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences that just arrived on scene to make that determination. At this point, we don't know if it's related to any of the weather, severe weather. We were told that there was flooding along this roadway, that it was pretty much covered in water earlier today. And so obviously there'll be a follow-up investigation to ultimately determine the cause of death. It appears the water's running from from east to west. There is a nearby bayou. We don't know if there's any connection to this, but we were told of a possible older adult that came up missing maybe since yesterday or maybe the day before. We'll have to confirm that. And again, we don't know if it's any connection to that, but that person did come up missing from this neighborhood here, and so we'll be keeping a close eye on that, and again, to see if there's any possible connection. The body was discovered when a woman was looking for her dog. Again, there had been a lot of water, and as she was walking around, she came across the body and notified us immediately. That's when Sheriff's Office deputies arrived at the location and secured the scene at that point. En este momento estamos aquí, esta tarde encontramos el cuerpo de un hombre, parece ser un hombre, no hemos confirmado todavía en este momento, pero parece ser que es un hombre. Va a haber una investigación para determinar quiénes fueron las personas, quién es la persona. No sabemos si eso está conectado con el clima y la lluvia y las tormentas que han existido, pero va a ser parte de nuestra investigación también. No sabemos si hay conexión, pero nos dijeron que había una persona que estaba que se había desviado de su casa en los últimos días. No sabemos si es la misma persona. Parece ser que es una persona ya mayor en edad, pero no sabemos si es esa persona o no. Vamos a tener que identificar quiénes fueron. Entonces, en este momento no tenemos la identificación, va a ser parte de nuestra investigación. It's hard to tell completely just because the person is submerged in water, so it's kind of hard to tell. It appears to be an adult male. We just don't know really an age range at this point because he's face down.
Was there any trauma to the body?
It's hard to tell because, again, it's in water. It's in at least 2 feet of water right now, and the water was much higher, and he's face down, so it's really hard to get a good frontal look. But now with the investigator being here from the medical examiner's office, we'll be able to see a lot more, and ultimately through an autopsy.
Is there a lot of exactly where on the Foy block?
Yes, it's right behind this large tree. It's right there in the ditch in the waterway.
And you said this street was inundated?
Yes, we were talking to some of the residents. They said this street was pretty much impassable earlier today. It was pretty high. Even now, the body's in about 2 feet of water inside the ditch along the embankment. There was a lot of water, so we don't know if maybe the body was further downstream or upstream and then came down with the current. But that's when it was discovered earlier today.
You've been able to speak with some.
Yo creo que tal vez en una hora más. Sí, estamos esperando que lleguen a recoger el cuerpo y ya llegaron los investigadores forensicos.
You've been able to speak with some neighbors.
I have.
And what's the overall response so far?
Just concern. Some have talked about the flooding situation earlier. That again, it was pretty impassable earlier. Other residents that are just concerned that it could be their friend and possible neighbor that they've been looking for the last day or so. And so, we're hoping to get them more answers when we get more information. But at this point, it's just they have a lot of questions that's unanswered right now.
Sheriff, there were some people here earlier, like 3 people that looked like they may have been family of the missing person. Was that them? And can you describe kind of how that interaction went?
Sure. I wasn't here when they were here, but according to our deputies, apparently some family members or possible family members did come. They were concerned and obviously saddened. But just eager to get more information. Some other neighbors arrived and they were pretty sad as well. Again, we don't want to make that direct connection yet without first confirming who it is, especially with the person being face down. But with the close proximity, it's right around the corner from where the body was discovered. It's very likely connected to the missing person.
You just saw the medical examiner show up. Tell us what's going on right now.
Yeah, right now we have the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences, the investigator that arrived. they'll begin collecting the information necessary for their medical investigation and ultimately trying to make a determination if who the person is, and then they'll have a transport vehicle coming as well that'll actually transport the body from this location.
Hasta ahora solo se sabe que es un hombre, algún otro detalle, algún otro...
Parece ser hombre, en esta manera no sabemos porque está bajo de agua, parcialmente está bajo de agua, entonces no tenemos más detalles en este momento, pero parece ser un hombre que estaba para
mayor
abajo.
de edad, joven.
No se sabe, pero parece que es un hombre adulto, no adolescente ni nada de eso, pero no podemos confirmar hasta que tengamos más detalles.
Around what time was the body discovered?
Just earlier this afternoon, so I would say in the last 2 hours or so, it was discovered.
Just to make sure I'm looking at the right spot, and it's over there where those investigators are gathered on the right side, kind of by the, maybe tough to see.
Yeah, it's pretty much right behind this large tree. You can't see it, but that utility pole that's right there between that tree, there's an actual waterway, a creek that runs, that feeds into the bayou. And so there is a little bit of a stream, kind of similar to this, but a little bit higher, and he's partially submerged. We could see the body from the roadway there, so it's in pretty close proximity to the road.
And what else can you tell us about that missing person?
Just they said the initial information I received was that it was reported maybe yesterday, and then again we don't know with the rain that we've had here in the last 24 hours or so, somehow that we don't know what may have happened, and so again we'll try to see if it's related to that or not.
Any surveillance images by any chance?
Not yet, but and again we'll have to also see if maybe it happened maybe further upstream, and then the stream with the heavy rise in water, maybe it pushed it further down this way, but that'll be something we'll be looking at.
Do you know where that missing person lived?
They just told me it was on that next street over. I believe that's maybe the one over somewhere along the street. There's some neighbors that are over there, but they didn't give me the physical address.
What message do you have for people out there if they're walking in high water?
Yeah, to just be very careful. Obviously, it can be very deceiving. There's different ditches, creeks, bayous, and others. Hall's Bayou is right over here to the west. So there's a lot of waterways and even vehicles trying to pass. There's ditches. Somebody could fall in, especially young kids, and get submerged in water very quickly. Again, neighbors were saying that you couldn't even really drive through here earlier today, so it was much higher. We wouldn't have been able to spot the body at that point, and so it could be very deceiving, especially as it gets darker. We're expecting more rain, and so people, we've already had some saturation, and so we've been telling people to just be weather aware, to be tuning into your different news stations to get their latest information. I know you all have apps and everything that you get out to information. It's really important for the public to be aware of what's going on. Several of the neighbors say that's how they got the information that this was happening, by tuning into you all. So, sí, nomás dijimos al público que tenga mucha precaución. Esperamos más lluvia. Obviamente nos estaban diciendo que el agua estaba más alta, entonces puede causar peligro si la gente anda caminando, o a veces están caminando mascotas o algo pasa. Entonces que tengan cuidado. Esperamos más lluvia esta noche. Entonces le decimos al público solamente que se sintoníen a sus estaciones para recibir la más información sobre la lluvia, y si no, tienen que estar afuera, que no lo estén.
Is HCSO the only agency out here investigating this?
Yes, correct. We're the only investigative agency. We also have a marine unit out here, just because they may have equipment if the forensic investigator needs additional assistance.
Just that one victim?
Yes, that's all we have at this point.
And I think you may have covered this, but just in case I didn't miss anything, just next steps in the investigation.
Yeah, again, the main thing right now is just determine who it is. Obviously a lot of it there's no immediate notice of foul play necessarily. There'll be an autopsy conducted to rule that out, and if it appears to be due to natural causes, due to drowning or something, then obviously it'll go in more criminal investigation. But at this point we don't know that until the investigators can get a closer look.